My name is Edye. I've been a patient here for a little over 6 months now, so I'm at the end of my program. But I have to say that, without sounding overly dramatic, that these doctors and this program actually saved my life. 6 years ago, well, let me back up and say, last year at this time, I really thought I was dying. I had excruciating pain, debilitating exhaustion. I was depressed. I had all kinds of gastrointestinal problems. Almost anything you can think of that could be a symptom of something, I think I had it. And the depression had taken over my mind, my whole way of thinking. I had such a foggy brain, I could barely focus on anything. So I was really feeling quite discouraged about my whole situation and couldn't get any help on it. 6 years before that, I had been out of town working on a job that was really very stressful, and I went to the doctor there because I started all of a sudden coming in and having to go to bed immediately. I was so tired, I just couldn't do anything but just go straight to bed or fall asleep on the sofa. I went to give blood there at a blood donation at the church, and they said that my iron level was so low that they wouldn't take my blood and I needed to see a doctor right away. I went to see a local doctor who just pretty much focused on telling me or asking me if I'd had these tests that they always ask you about. You know, have you had your pap, have you had your mammogram, you know, those kinds of things. And didn't spend any time actually talking to me about why a woman who had been healthy all her life, had had tons of energy all her life, didn't take any medications of any sort, not even an aspirin, would all of a sudden get so tired she couldn't function. He did take a blood test. It came back and he said that my thyroid was a little low. He prescribed 25 units of a thyroid medication for me and told me I'd have to stay on it for life. I came back from that job and continued to get worse and worse as the 6 years progressed. I had a cycle, and that cycle was that I'd take the medication, I'd feel better for a little bit, maybe a week or so, and then I'd start feeling worse. I'd go back to the doctor, they'd give me another increase in dosage, and over that 6 years it went from 25 to 137 units. At that point, last Thanksgiving, I think it was, after Thanksgiving, I was getting worse and worse on that much medication. I talked to my doctor and said that I wanted some extensive testing done because my thought pattern was that I just felt instinctively that I had inflammation in my body and that there had to be imbalances in my body that needed to be discovered, and then maybe I could be treated for whatever was really wrong with me. I couldn't get up out of a chair. I had to hold on to a table. I had to have help getting up, something, and then the pain was so bad I just couldn't even function. I couldn't stay awake. Once 3 o'clock came, that was it for me. I had to leave work and come home and you know, go to sleep. At that point, I really didn't think there was anything else that could be done for me because my doctor said that they don't do the testing that I wanted done, and so I was just at a loss as to what to do, except just to give up. I did one Saturday morning, I was flipping through the TV and I saw a young man on there being interviewed. I caught the word thyroid and I thought, okay, I got enough of it, I'll go online and see what this is about. And it turned out to be Dr. Red. And I listened to what he had to say on the website and listened to a couple of the testimonials. And I called up, not right away because I was still skeptical, and I did wait a while, and then I called up, had an appointment with him for a consult. And a couple of things stood out in my mind at that point, and one was that he had actually read the information I had turned in to him about my condition. And another thing I noticed was the compassion and the real caring that I felt, the kindness. And that was something I ended up experiencing from the rest of the doctors too. Dr. Gage and Dr. Anderson. And I felt like maybe this was a chance to just not get a pill for a symptom. Maybe I could actually find out what was going on. So I did start the program. I committed to it 100%. They did the testing that I had been hoping to get done before. And from that, they were able to discover that I did have Hashimoto's. I did have certain imbalances and intolerances in my body. I did have the inflammation. So they got me on a program that included herbal supplements, dietary changes, and a whole teaching program teaching me how to recognize the triggers for my particular problems. So over the 6 months, I've come away now with the tools that I need for life. Not a drug, not a pill to take for life, but tools that I can use to keep myself healthy going forward. So I just, I was really excited about that. 7 days after being on the program, after months and months of dealing with that excruciating pain in my knees, I was able to be free of it. It was gone. I still had some discomfort in my knees, but the pain was gone. And I could not believe it. If anything was a boost to staying on the program and seeing it through, it had to have been that. But over the 6 months, I've also gotten my clear thinking back. I'm not foggy-brained anymore. My vision, well, except for the fact that I wear glasses, is not blurry. I have lost 40 pounds when before I couldn't lose a pound, and if I exercised, I felt worse. I have no depression. My energy level is out the roof, and I just feel absolutely wonderful. I can't even describe it really. I feel like I have my physical and my mental health totally back, if not better, because at least now I know things that I need to do to keep my great health. I think one of the things that bothers me though, and that I do have a regret about, is that I can't describe to these doctors how grateful I am. That they brought me back from almost sure death to this quality of life that I have. And one thing I know for sure is that they have a passion for wanting to help people get their health back. And because of that, they're really good at what they do. You have to have a passion for what you do to be really good at it, and they do. And the fact that they collaborate means that you have a whole staff of doctors working on your case from day one. So you don't get any more of that, your doctor's gone until Wednesday, because there's always a doctor here, and you can always talk to somebody that's aware of what your particular case is all about and how to help you or to guide you through whatever your problem is at that time. So I guess I would just say to you that if you have any of the problems like I've had, or anything else even that you feel like you need to have help with, but you have been your pleas have been falling on deaf ears, if you will, you owe it to yourself to call these amazing doctors. Get in, find out what's wrong, let them try to devise a program for you so that you can be as healthy and as happy as I am today.